Oh. Step on the crack or you'll break Daddy's back.
What is up, kind ones? It's Horse, the king of the nutshot, and this is my daily vlog documenting my recovery of a CSF leak. That's a cerebral spinal fluid leak. I do that intro like every time so that you guys can get home from work, you can grab a snack, take a pee, and get ready to get nasty. Now, I do that intro every time in case you're a first time viewer, and I want you to know what I'm all about. So I show that I'm American Daredevil, doing super brutal, insane stunts to destroy my body for your viewing entertainment. A lot of it very stupid. I also am a stay-at-home dad, so I have two beautiful girls that are everything to me. A lot of what I do is for them and my wife and my family in general. And then to talk about what happened, my spine injury. So I'm leaking spinal fluid out of my spine. It's not specifically from my stunts. It wasn't one specific stunt that I got injured from. At the time, I think it was just over exerting my body in workout form because I was training for American Ninja Warrior. But I do my intro with my girls and the Don't Break Daddy's Back, and I do the intro of who I am every time, not to like get repetitive and annoy you guys, but it's for anybody that's coming in and this is the first time they're watching a video, and at the very least they get to see what I've been about and what I'm about now. So if they want to decide they want to subscribe, they kind of have some good information about it right off the bat. So I'm headed to physical therapy right now. I'm going to keep the vlog pretty short today, but as the title alludes to, I'm going to talk about the financials of having a CSF leak, because I've talked about how the symptoms affect your body, and I talked about how the recovery affects your lifestyle and how restrictions hold your kind of life back from taking part in life in like a normal fashion. But what I have not talked about, which I think is a huge factor, and it's going to be a huge factor even for me moving forward, looking into my recovery, is the financials of it. And even the financials where I'm still able to do at least my part-time job at the gym, teaching my classes and running my parkour program. But that's just not the whole story, and it's tough on me. It's tough on my family, and we don't even have it that bad. And I mean we don't even have it that bad because I have insurance. But I would imagine some other people out there really getting hit hard by this, that are dealing with CSF leaks and don't have insurance. But all I can tell right now is my side of the story. If you guys have a story to share, definitely leave in the comments below or send me a private message, because I would like to kind of hear about your struggle, specifically financially, with CSF leaks, and maybe we can kind of spread some information and some awareness in that part of the recovery, and then hopefully some other people can be a little bit more prepared going forward, or maybe it'll just make you rethink not having insurance or something like that. So I'm gonna go hit this physical therapy like I said, and then we'll talk about this when I'm done. All right.
All right. That's it.
All good. All right. Thank you very much. All right, like I said earlier, I want to talk about financials. It might be a little harder than I planned on because I'm having symptoms right now. Symptoms that I had before with my CSF leak. My neck is tightening up, and sometimes it's really hard to explain how this feels. I've heard some people explain it as like a headache at the base of their skull. For me right now, it's only on my left side. I'll tell you a story. When I was little, I was a gymnast, so I was on the team in gymnastics, and we had this, I believe it was either German or Russian coach. And this is no lie, this is exactly what went down. What we would do routines, and if we would bend our legs, or we didn't have pointed toes, things that you get deducted on when you do your routines in gymnastics, the coach would lay us down flat, and he would take his knee and he would drive it into our thigh for however many seconds. It's like every deduction might have been like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So we would literally be in so much pain from him pushing his knee into our muscles, dead leg, that we would have real tears of pain coming out of our eyes. So it's like maybe that's why I became so tolerant in pain as I am today. But it basically feels like somebody's driving their knee into the back of my neck right now, and it kind of pulses in pain. So I'll do something, I'll move, and it'll tighten up, and it'll kind of pulse in pain, and it's causing me to, I'm just thinking wise, I'm even off. We went to the grocery store, and I forgot the groceries in the car for a good half hour before I remembered to bring them in. So they call it brain fog, and I think if you told anybody or describe brain fog to anybody, they'd be like, oh yeah, I get that, like I can't think. But it's like, it literally feels like, I don't know, I'm like spaced out, like it's just different. I can't totally think, I can't totally be myself. I'm just like in like a different, it's kind of like out of body space right now, or out of body experience out of body in an out of body like space right now, experiencing my life. But I still want to talk about financials. I just have to go edit this when I'm done as well, so I might not go into as much detail as I wanted, but we can talk about it down the line. And I want to hear what you guys have to say and everything too, what you've been through. So basically, I got my insurance right at the deadline when you could get insurance last year, or maybe it was this year, 2017. So I got mine at like the very last date that you could sign up. I signed up through the government website. I've been putting off insurance for like the longest time because I always told myself, like, if I get insurance, that's going to be the time that I get hurt. Because like I just always was lucky enough not to get super injured on things, and I figured, hey, well, if I broke my arm, like I'd have to pay that out of pocket anyways, unless I like paid a really high monthly premium. Like that stuff I'm gonna have to pay out of my pocket anyway. So unless I got in a serious accident, why pay monthly, because I'm screwed then anyways. And I just think that is the wrong way to think it. That's not the way I did it, was not the right way. I just you can't take that risk, especially when you have a family and people that you care about. I'll be honest, like the monthly payment for my plan is probably more than I can afford, or would like. I had pretty much have to choose between having health insurance and not getting some of the stuff that I want in my life, which in this case has really turned out to be the right choice. But before, I never, that's the kind of the way I looked at insurance, and that was kind of dumb, but that's just, I'm dumb and stubborn, and that's, I also didn't want to take advantage of the system, so it's like I'm doing these stupid stunts, these dangerous, crazy stunts, so if I get hurt, that's on me, not the people. That's not the hospital's fault and everybody's fault that has to repair me. That's my fault. So I never wanted to feel like I was like using the system. I was like, understand my own stupidity, and that's what it is. And but I kind of grew out of that and realized that I had to get insurance. So I got insurance, and it's lucky I did, because I'm just going to go over 2 days in this whole process of finding out I had a CSF leak. The first day I got a MRI brain contrast, and then an MRI cervical with and without contrast. So basically an MRI of my spine and an MRI of my brain. And these are the two things that Duke needed to see if they could tell if I had a CSF leak, or at least so they could see if I had any signs of having a CSF leak. So without any insurance, that bill would have been $7,702. My deductible for my insurance is $4,000. So $4,000 of that I had to pay. And then me going down to Duke after Duke saw my scans and saw what was up with me and saw my brain sagging in my head. So they saw a scan from 2012 and a scan from 2017, and it showed that my brain was sagging in my skull, meaning the spinal fluid that holds your skull or your brain in place in your skull was lower. My brain was lower, showing signs that I was leaking spinal fluid somewhere. So then I went down to Duke, and so those MRIs were all in one day, $7,700. Then I went down to Duke. And I got some tests done to figure out if I had the CSF leak. And then once they found the CSF leak, they were able to patch me up. And I'm not going to even, with my head right now, I'm not going to even try to read this stuff. But I can't even think. Bottom line, total charges came to $15,229.24. So, what was that altogether? That's like $23,000 that it cost in 2 days to find out what was wrong with me and fix me. If I didn't have insurance, I would be paying all of that, which is insanity. And probably with all the tests I've done, because those are only 3 separate tests, 2 different days, with all the other tests and doctors that I had to see just in 2017, my bills probably were like $25,000 to $30,000, and that's insane. So the insurance really helped me, because that's just $4,000 I had to pay out of pocket, and then I hit my deductible, and as long as I stay in network, that's all that I owe for this year. Now, if Duke wasn't covered under my service provider, I would have had to literally decide if I was going to get fixed up or not there, because it would have costed me $15,000. So luckily they were covered under my insurance, and I was able to get patched up, and I only owe $4,000, or I'm paying on $4,000 which I personally set up payment plans because I just don't have that on me with 2 girls and everything else going on in the house just to pay. So I'm paying that off now. So that brings me to like a bigger situation that I'm in. So like I'm having symptoms right now. So does that mean that my CSF leak is back? Well, I feel like I have a really big choice to make because I don't want to push this out too much longer before I make a decision. Hey, and it's going to be partly a financial decision. Hey, if I'm leaking, like I need to go get patched up and I need to go get fixed up before the end of the year, because if I don't, then I'm going to have to pay out of pocket $4,000. Whereas if I got it done in 2017, I'm already past my deductible and we can get repaired and get fixed up again without having to spend another dime, basically. So it's going to be a big decision financially, and that's tough on me, and it's tough on my wife and my kids, and financially as a family, that's a lot of money that we didn't plan on having. And going towards, we'd much rather it go towards some other things for us and for the girls. And I do feel a little bit blessed that I was able to get insurance and then everything was covered, because, man, can you imagine all that money? Like, there's just no way that we would have been able to afford it. So I imagine what other people without insurance, or that couldn't get accepted for insurance, or that have to travel and go outside their network and have these huge bills. And that's after they figure out they have that's after they figure out they have CSF leaks. Before, they're going through and trying to figure out if they have migraines and doing all these tests, and things are coming back negative and they just can't figure out what's wrong with them. I mean, if it wasn't for me talking to the Spinal CSF Leak Foundation, I'd be still taking antidepressant medication to try to deal with migraines, which isn't what I had at all or have at all. It would have been a lot of time and a lot of money wasted. So that's it. I feel horrible right now, and I feel real down because of my symptoms and how I feel right now. But I do want to hear from you guys. I want to hear. I know finances is ends up being like a big no-no to talk about. It's very personal. So if you don't want to share it publicly, message me. But it's a big part of what you have to deal with. Obviously, for the most part, your health is more important than this money that we just kind of make up and put a value to. Like, your health is more important. But I know there's certain things, if I said, oh, well, there's a chance that this might figure out what's wrong with you, but it's going to cost $5,000-$10,000, and there's a chance that it might not figure out what's wrong with you. That would be a big choice to have to make. And that's not even getting into if you're suffering and you're having symptoms and you can't make it out of bed, how are you supposed to work to make that money to pay for those tests and for those operations or procedures to make you better again? And then once you actually get patched up like I did, I'm able to go in and teach verbally, but I can't do any of the stuff I want to be able to do physically because of my restrictions. So what if you had a physical job and you had to be out for a good 6 months to a year? How are you supposed to pay your bills when you don't have an income coming in because you're restricted? And I mean, and then at the same time, I'm doing this recovery vlog for a lot of good reasons. But like, I want to be out doing stunts and making shows, and my whole career is physical, and I'm hindered right now because of it. So that decreases my income and decreases my chances to make money right now, and makes it harder to pay those bills. So it's a whole crazy thing. But yeah, $25,000 for finding out and fixing, hopefully fixing, spinal CSF leak is just insanity. So that was kind of like a long rant, and I'm just going to, for the most part, just put this video out raw, not do a lot of editing, because there's just no way I can sit at the computer for like an hour cutting something up. I'm just going to get this video out the best way I can and the fastest way I can, so you guys can check it out and we can talk and we can get back at it hopefully tomorrow, depending on how I feel. If I don't feel great, then you'll probably see a live video from me. There's no way I'm going to keep you guys hanging, but if I can't film and I can't edit, then I can't. But it is what it is. Thank you so much. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification button. That way you get a notification anytime I upload or go live. And as always, you guys stay nasty. Peace.
The horse!